Hi guys, thanks for coming back. I'm actually going to be introducing you to Rolf Brandt today. So this is going to be his first chapter, which is actually chapter 2 in my book. And it's called The Spoils of War. And it takes place in Garmisch, Germany, which is a small Bavarian town. And you'll find out a little bit more about that as time goes by. But if you want to look that up, it's Garmisch. It's an adorable little Bavarian town. So just keep that in your mind. Here it goes. Herr Brandt tried to understand, Brutskeller said. The art and treasures confiscated as spoils of war against the Jews in Poland require someone of your expertise. A short, sturdy man with investigative eyes and a tight, devious smile, the messenger punctuated his words with a blunt edge. He'd arrived unannounced at Rolf's home during the dinner hour, a day before expected, informing Rolf of his new post in the Third Reich. Most Jewish art is marked for destruction, but the stuff from conquered territories are what... With respect, sir, Rolf interrupted, attempting to tone down his thick Bavarian accent. The aroma of his mother's potato pancakes and bacon still lingered in the room, a reminder of her wet cheeks during the meal. He stood and stepped toward the fireplace, not about to give in. Rolf's liver-colored German wire-haired pointer snapped to attention, her growl a signal to beware. Rolf knelt down and stroked her head. It's all right, Wendy. It's all right. He wanted no part in helping the Nazis with their plunder of the Jews. His mother had arranged for him to take the midnight train to Austria. He would go on to America and send for her later. Herr Brutskeller, works of art, Jewish or otherwise, belong to the world community. We consider... Be careful, Brandt. The words exploded from Brutskeller's lips. Your father exhibited the same weakness for the Jews. Any Bavarian should be grateful. Think about the words you are saying before they come too far out of your mouth. With forced calmness, Rolf asked, What do you mean exactly, Herr Brutskeller? The man reminded him of a local pickpocket who had also earned the tag of town drunk. While this scoundrel before him didn't reek of alcohol, he did smell odd, sort of like old clothes soaked in lye. His shifty little eyes surveyed every inch of the room sporadically, focusing on inanimate objects. Rolf speculated how such a man managed to worm his way in with top-ranking officials of Germany. Brutskeller tightened his grip on the handle of his briefcase. The point is, we're both Catholics. I can help you, Brandt, if you cooperate. Ralph's eyes locked on the messenger's face. I need to know if this is an invitation, as it was referred to in Himmler's letter, or a threat, sir. Rolf would not assist the Nazis. Deep down, he knew his father's death in Berlin was no accident. What is important is your case. In your case, is your bloodline Bavarian or not? Brutskeller says. Bloodline? What does that have to do with anything? Brutskeller pulled a few documents from his attaché case and placed them in Rolf's hands. Copies of his birth certificate and baptismal certificate, and those of his parents and grandparents, along with a genealogy chart. Dropping something gold on the floor, he grabbed it and stuffed it in his pocket before Rolf could make out just what it was. A ring, perhaps? Rolf sat back in the overstuffed chair examining the papers. My ancestry? What? New Reich racial laws. What happened to privacy? No need to worry, Brandt. By Reich classification, destiny intends great things for you. For a moment, Brutskeller had his attention. Rolf's father had often voiced a similar opinion, promptings that stirred his soul. But this wasn't his father. He knew his mother was right about leaving before the National German Workers' Socialist Party smothered the entire country. Thank you, but I have my own plans. Cast off all doubt, Rolf. You are one of the few young Bavarian men with good blood. As an SS officer in the Third Reich, you will have the privilege, once the program is fully operational, if you can tone down that ridiculous dialect and speak proper German, to procreate with the finest female Aryans in Europe in order that you may help build the master race for our nation, for the world. After a deep breath, he snapped the case shut, placed it on the hardwood floor, and sat back with a hearty sigh. Procreate? I thought this was an invitation concerning managing art collections. Now Ralph understood why Brutskeller had requested his mother to leave them alone in the sitting room. His eyes scanned the long-walled parlor, past the lacy white curtains at the window, beyond a dozen or so family photographs and his medal on the wall, to the hall door. The fire snapped and the log tumbled, and embers spattering. He prayed she wasn't listening. Brutskeller gloated. This project is of the highest national secrecy, and only for the most privileged. Ever since our Führer saw you at the Olympic victory dinner, he has wanted you in the program. Rolf tried to hide his revulsion. Why me, Herr Brutskeller? Aren't there plenty of young German men? Not with your combined endowments, Rolf. According to these documents, you graduated with honors. You have been described by your teachers and neighbors as cooperative, law-abiding, dependable, and honest. As a hard worker, you'll appreciate the efficiency of the Third Reich. The messenger raised his hand to Rolf's face, his forefinger and thumb in the shape of an L, almost touching Rolf's left cheek. Your strong, tall body, Nordic features, blonde hair, blue-green eyes, and good cheekbones tip the scales in your favor. Rolf's thinking, am I a mannequin or an art restorer here? Rolf almost grimaced as he jerked back. Let's get to the comment regarding my father and the Jewish paintings. When Brutskeller spoke, his lips moved fast, and he stared at a nail in the floor. Your father got himself into a little trouble at the National Gallery. One cannot play cloak and dagger with the Third Reich. Blood rushed to Rolf's face. His cheeks burned as he examined the man. Brutskeller's blank expression made his face difficult to read. Rolf felt rather certain it was unsafe to pry information from the messenger, but his need to know demanded risk. He swallowed back the anxiety and drew a deep breath. What sort of trouble exactly? Let me be frank, Brutskeller said, snapping a match to light a cigar. You possess the experience and expertise to evaluate works of art we are now in the process of securing in Poland. Within a few days, the remainder of Poland, including Warsaw, will belong to Germany, and all their national treasures will be secured, tallied, valued, and distributed. Rolf. Let me be frank, Herr Brutskeller. You are connected in Berlin. Rolf despised the spicy, overpowering stench of the cigar. Tell me how my father really died. Then perhaps we can cooperate. Brutskeller didn't flinch. Upon our Führer's orders, you are to accompany me today on the train to Berlin. Rolf wanted to snap his neck like he'd snapped the necks of geese for Sunday suppers. I am not a party member, and I do not take kindly to orders. Brewskeller chuckled as he fiddled with the latches on his briefcase. Controlling his instincts to kick the man all the way down the hall and out the door, Rolf ran his fingers through the bristly coat of his dog, deliberating. He was in the middle of restoring several Lufta Malari wall frescoes, one at the Post Hotel and another on the exterior of a 17th century house on Ludwigstrasse, and the third at Partenkirche, the old church in the neighboring village. I'm a fresco restorer, a wall painter. I'm in the middle of important restorations for Bavaria. I know little about. This offer is meant to save you from your transgressions, son. There are lessons you need to learn, and there will be enough treasures. Brewskeller rubbed his hands together, a greedy, unexpected smile on his lips, to make us all very rich. If you're wise, you will grasp the concept of how collaborations can be mutually advantageous. Rolf wasn't biting at the bait. He'd been his father's son too long. Artists don't trade their ethics for fame or fortune, Herr Brewskeller. Truly, it would not be wise to disappoint our Führer. Brewskeller dropped the smile for a malicious grimace. Do you wish to end up like your father, Herr Brandt? Rolf rolled up his fist and held himself back. A few tense seconds passed. What would his father expect of him at this moment? Actually, yes. I intend to honor the memory of my father by following in his footsteps, honoring my mother by taking care of her now that he is gone, and finish restoring the precious frescoes to make him proud. There wasn't a better man in the world, and I'll thank you to leave my father out of this conversation. Wagging a finger in Rolf's face, the ingrained snobbery of a Berliner glowed in his eyes. He raised his voice. You can take care of Erica by... Erica? My mother to you, Mr. Brewskeller, is Mrs. Brandt. Under new regulations, your honor is to the fatherland and the Führer now. Rolf hitched toward the chair. He moved forward. He wanted to toss the shriveling little snake of a man head first out of the house and into Dante's 8th level of hell where he belonged. Exhaling through clenched teeth, he stated the obvious. So this is a threat, not a request or an invitation. By direct order, I have to bring you back, or my life isn't worth the ink on my own birth certificate, Brandt. Rolf had gotten off the year before when they had insisted he join the Art Institute to paint the walls of bare Bavarian buildings with nation-building Teutonic boys. But now he felt lost in the dark woods of an inferno. My patience is at a breaking point. I must ask you to leave, Herr Brewskeller. Give Himmler my answer. I will lay down my life for my country willingly, but I will never join the Nazi party. The messenger straightened his collar and puffed out a few rounds of smoke, the ash tumbling on the floor. There is no need for anger, son. I have the power of the Third Reich behind me. We have plenty of time to catch the 10 o'clock train to Berlin. A faint chugging of train pistons in the distance caused a hard knot in Rolf's gut. He gripped the arm of the chair, preparing to attack, but reconsidered. God, let me find the right words, he thought. Brewskeller opened his briefcase, flipped up a velvet flap, and exposed a silver pistol. shiny as a newly minted coin. It's simple math, son. Your mother will be safe unless you fail in your duty as a German citizen. You may wish to pack a few of your personal items while there is still time. And that's how the story begins. Chapter 1 was Rena, and chapter 2 was Rolf. And it goes along like that, changing chapters for a while, back and forth, before they don't change back and forth anymore. No spoilers here. I really appreciate you listening to me read, because I'm like stumbling over my words half the time, and I'm not like a narrator at all. So, and maybe I'm too dramatic as well. That could be a problem, which is why I wrote this kind of a book, because obviously I have a problem with drama or something. Anyway, try to share it out if you can. Pick it up. It's going on sale 99 cents on the Kindle pretty soon. But, you know, it's worth the $5.99, and it's worth the $16 for the book. So if you want to be a part of The Last Snapshot and Neon Gods and the whole series, which is the Age of Force and Neon, I would totally appreciate it. I'd love to have a personal relationship with you. Write me anytime. You can write me at Facebook. I have the Maryland Morningstar Books and Photography page. You can write me there. Just message me. I have the Last Snapshot book page. And then I have a website, it's kind of an older website I've had for a while, but it doesn't really have anything to do with the book much. www.marylandmorningstar.com. Also, I'm going to put a little plug in, because some of my proceeds will help my children. I do run orphanages. I don't run orphanages exactly. What I do is I match volunteers. I have an orphanage website, www.worldwideorphanages.com. With that website, what I do is I connect volunteers and donors with orphanages all around the world. And yes, I do help donate money. I do donate my own money. I do collect donations for the orphanages, and those are 100% given back. So there's no charge for me to. This is just a charity thing I do for myself, basically, and to try to help orphans around the world. I have traveled to 7 continents and 60 countries, and a lot of that has been to orphanages, partially along my way. When I'm out for 3 months, I'll be going to some orphanages. So I do know the ones that are legit and the ones that aren't. And so if you're interested in volunteering, please let me know. You can go to www.worldwideorphanages.com, and that also works the other way, www.orphanagesworldwide.com. I own both of those sites, if you want to see what that's about. But any of them, you know, the money that I eventually get for this book, a lot of it will be going to help my orphanages. That's kind of was my goal and hope. So yeah, buy the book, buy the ebook, tell other people to buy it. I really appreciate it. And if you know anybody that has a connection with Steven Spielberg, tell them, give them my book. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate it. And take care, guys.